Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Rebels Compass. I am highly delighted this afternoon to have David and Jessica LeBlanc with me of Self-Sufficient You. Now, I met them at the Connection 2023 event, and I've been very excited to have them on to share their vision and their accomplishments so far and what it is they are creating. So, good afternoon, both of you.
Afternoon.
Afternoon, Karen.
I'm really excited to have you here.
We're excited to be here.
All right, well, the self-sufficient you, that's self-explanatory to me, but to other people, what do you think that would mean to everybody else to be self-sufficient, and how people can become more self-sufficient?
So back in the fall, a few months ago, we started an online community called Self-Sufficient You. And I could talk a little bit about the reasons why and the genesis of it. But basically, the community is geared for like-minded people to come together in a safe place to learn, to share their experiences and their tips, and to connect with others on their journey of being a bit more independent, maybe a bit more self-sufficient, and also personally fulfilled. We've noticed over the past personally, and with our friends and family and others over the past a couple of years, we became a bit complacent, a bit lazy maybe, and a bit too dependent on others, others being governments and corporations, and the grocery store down the street and all those kinds of things. And with so many other people in the same boat, having made changes and transformations in their lifestyle and their lives over the past few years, we too decided to I guess regain a little more control of our lives, to reduce some of our anxiety about what was going on around us in the world, and sometimes to us and to others. And for some examples of how we did that, was starting to just have a little garden in our backyard. So we don't live in the country and have a 50-acre farm. We live in suburbia here in Ottawa, in Stittsville, and we have a small townhouse and a small backyard. So that means just adding a few more vegetables to our garden, and a few more growing some berries, and in the wintertime adding a couple of indoor hydroponic gardens. Off-the-shelf commercial products that you can get, for example, from Canadian Tire. Nothing, not any kind of crazy mad scientist hydroponic system by any means. Things like starting to learn how to make our own sourdough bread, doing some of our own dehydrating and food canning. And so, we kind of started from zero, probably like a lot of other people, and just decided that, we probably need to be a bit more self-sufficient ourselves.
Yeah, I can completely agree with that. And certainly the last 2-3 years has really brought that to people's attention. You can't just pull something out of the freezer and throw it in the microwave, and maybe things weren't there. And going back to how our ancestors did things and being more self-sufficient and knowing how to do these. I know this year, for the very first time, I actually did canning. Now, coming from the UK, canning isn't something, unless you live right out in the country, that I was even exposed to. It wasn't until I moved to Canada and heard about canning, and my instant vision was cans of peas and cans of carrots, and going, what the heck is that? So just through trial and error and doing that, and just making salsa with friends, and the amount of work but also satisfaction that goes into that is huge. So being able to have these communities and this group that you have, to be able to share that information, for people to know that they're not alone, and be able to connect to you with that is massive.
So as you know, Jessica and I kind of started to wander down that road and our journey of just doing a few more things for ourselves, we started to realize that you know, this isn't rocket science. We're not really breaking new ground here. You know, like exactly like you said, these are things that my grandparents and our grandparents did. You know, for example, storing some extra food in the basement. That's not any kind of doomsday conspiracy attitude. That's just being smart and buying things when they're on sale in case, you know, the power goes out one day. So just little things like that. And we really realized that kind of just doing a few more things for ourselves, having a little urban garden, you know, learning to do your own bread, learning to can and other things are just getting back to basics and having a simple life. And there are a lot of the traits and activities that our grandparents had. So the pendulum is maybe shifting back, and also for economic reasons too. Life's a bit more expensive these days for most people, and you know, it's good to be a bit more economical with your pennies.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I know, Jessica, you mentioned you have a background in nutrition and being able to support people in that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a registered holistic nutritionist. And so I do have a lot of experience in the nutrition field. My specialty is actually with the skin, but I also have the nutrition background. So it kind of works very well with this as well.
Yeah. But the skin is the fastest exit for what's going on the inside. So if you have skin issues, if you have psoriasis, if you have, you know, other skin conditions, that's a direct link back to your digestive system and what's going on internally in order to be able to correct that. So everything that you're doing kind of blends one into the other with being able to support yourself with growing your own food and knowing what's best for you nutritionally.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's all connected. Your skin's a mirror image of what's going on inside of you.
Absolutely. Have you guys ever read the book Anastasia?
Anastasia?
Anastasia.
Yeah. No.
So this book was out probably 30, 40 years ago, and I actually read the original copies, and I think since the original copies have been changed. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because she talks about when you're planting seeds. And when you plant seeds, you take the seed and hold it into your mouth underneath your tongue to be able to connect the seed to your own personal DNA, so that when you plant the seed, it already has a memory of what you nutritionally need for your own physical body.
Wow, very cool.
And
Look
there's
into
a
that.
whole science on it, and it's something that I
Amazing.
actually do for myself. You know, that with the seeds, I'll hold them into my mouth and then plant them. But it was a piece of information that came back years ago. And she, in the Anastasia books, they talk about being self-sufficient, about creating communities where you each have your gifts and you come together and thrive, not just survive.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
It's very important now than ever to have your communities and your support network around you, and you can all help with different things. Everybody's got different expertise, you know. I'm like like I might be stronger in certain places, but other people will know more about other things, and we can all help each other.
absolutely.
That's what we find too with our members. We kind of forget, you know, because we don't really, generally speaking these days, we don't know our community. You know, we get up, we go in our car and we drive to an office and then we come home. But we it's almost like what's that song, Mr. Rogers or Sesame Street? You know, like these are the people in your neighborhood. You don't see the you know, I'm not going to use gender neutral terms, but you know, the milkman and the mailman and you know, the cleaners and the baker kind of thing. We've bypassed and we don't know who's in our community. But what we're finding within our self-sufficient youth community is getting to know some of our members on a bit more meaningful level. So as opposed to something like maybe on Facebook, where you really don't know anyone necessarily, it's kind of anonymous and you kind of make a post or a comment. But within our community, we actually do member interviews. We have a couple a month, and the whole purpose of that is to reinitiate the practice of storytelling. which is a
Right.
bit of a lost art. And so while you may see someone on the community with their comments and their shares and their opinions and things, you don't get to know who they really are. So it's often a half-hour recorded video conversation. So we understand and get to know that person better and understand their story and their journey. And every single time, I tell you, Karen, when I have this conversation, you start to unpeel the onion and you really get to know so many other people and their struggles and their talents and their experiences and the road that they've been on and the journey that they're about to embark on. And it's you know, it's a strength, but it's also scary too. So and a lot of people are very happy and to share that, because I think from what the feedback has been, it's a safe space for people to kind of come together and share and to be their authentic self. So even though we kind of started for practical reasons, like let's learn how to do a few more things, what we often hear from people is just, you know, thank you so much. And I think you alluded to this at the beginning, Karen. Thank you so much just for creating a space, because I felt so isolated. I didn't know, you know, who I could talk to. And so just having kind of like-minded people being able to open up and breathe a little bit and to be who they are in a safe community has really been one of the I guess the byproducts that was not foreseen, but it's very wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Go ahead, Jessica.
The other nice thing is too, like it's not hosted on like any of the main platforms. Like it's not on Facebook, not on Instagram. It's got its own private communities. So people can really be themselves and open up. And like we have like on a Sunday evenings, so about twice a month, we have like a meet and greet where our members come together and we meet up on Zoom. We grab our favorite drink and we just have a chat with them and just see, you know, how everybody's doing and you know how like, you know, with our community we're growing all the time. And you know, we built it for everybody who's in there, not just for us at all. So we can always add more things if that's what they would like to see. You know, we can have different groups and spaces for different things. So we very much are listening to our members, their needs, and supporting them along with what they need and how learning how we can make it better and stuff too.
And by doing that too, not only do we get to know them better, but they get to know themselves better too, but they also get to know us a little better. Again, you know, they only see us within the community in terms of maybe what we're sharing or contributing, but just being on it would obviously be perfect to be in person, but that's not possible because this is a community that's Canadian right now. So we have members from all over the country, but at least being having a virtual meet and greet, people get to know, I guess, a bit who we are and who we're not. Because I think some of the initial impressions are, oh, you guys must be experts. And so, you know, I may feel intimidated to post my question or to share what I'm doing. Well, I realize that we are by no means not experts at all. In fact, we're just learning ourselves. And again, it puts them more at ease. And it's like, okay. And then you start to see their engagement levels go up because they don't feel as scared or intimidated that they may do something wrong. Yeah. The whole principle of the community is for people to interact and to ask their questions and to, you know, learn from someone who has maybe been there, done that just last month, who struggled with, you know, how to use a pressure canner or learning about solar panels further off grid at home. So all we've done is created the space and the platform to have people to come together and engage with themselves, and they're learning and sharing together, which is just a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. And I understand the power of that because through the last 2.5, 3 years, I would offer a Zoom called Ride the Wave, which was supporting people again, that you've got a place to come, you've got a place to share. We're all students and teachers. But one of the things that I love about what you're actually creating is you touch so many subjects. So when I went and had a look on your website, I've been searching your website and doing a little bit of navigating around your website, and you have all sorts of things on there. So you have a button for if somebody's looking for alternative investments or DIY or off-grid living. You have healthy home. So there's so many different things that you have on there that's going to pique somebody's interest maybe, and then they will navigate other little, you know, portals that you have where you are creating this huge community.
Yeah, we do have different spaces for sure. And even when you join, like say somebody wants to join, like you can choose what groups you want to join or be part of. And like for instance, if you go into the food and preserving, you can even dig deeper in there, and you can even follow gardening or kombucha or sourdough or any of that kind of stuff. So you can even dig deeper into each of the categories. So
Right.
and like, you know, in Healthy Home, we talk about water filtration and we talk about EMF protection and
Healthy plants to have around.
yeah, so it's a bunch of different things that we share. And each month we do have a different focus where we focus more on one of the groups. So like this month, we're talking about nutrition and self-care. And last month we did some DIY so that people can learn also. So, you know, like we did some demos last month where we showed how to make kombucha. Actually, yeah, kombucha and the almond milk and elderberry syrup.
We
And
got
like
some cooking videos too.
did some cooking videos too, so people can learn. And then we do the Ask the Experts too, and they generally will correlate to that monthly theme as well too. We bring in experts from outside of the community to even to speak and stuff as well.
Starting in, so I mean, we only started this community in early October, and Jessica and I are very specific and careful. This is not a place for everyone.
No.
We're not looking for a gazillion people. This is a place for those people who are looking to learn, looking to be a bit more independent, and also those who are already kind of in that space and maybe can give something back too. So we only started this in October, and come January, so last month, as the community was organically growing, with people sharing and chatting and posting their you know, here's my story, hey, here's a sourdough this made, you know, it's all fantastic. We wanted to move it even a bit more forward, and we wanted to create some intent and some purpose and focus each month. So as Jessica mentioned, last month we started with a monthly theme, and as you mentioned, it was DIY. So we got to learn how to make your own shampoo, make your own toothpaste, almond milk, all those kind of things. And this month it's self-care and nutrition. So with each month, we're going to have a different theme based on some of the groups you mentioned. So it's not a nice, friendly place to come together and chat, which it is, but you're also getting something practical out of it. You're actually learning some things, and whether it's through a how-to video that we do, or we have monthly videos where it's called Ask the Expert, where we have a video conversation with someone who is an expert in the field, and they give us some tips and techniques what we can do and apply them ourselves. So and down the road, we're looking at potentially bringing in someone to do maybe a course. So maybe we get together at 7 o'clock every Wednesday for the next 4 Wednesdays to learn how to sew. I mean, I don't know, whatever the topic is. So it's been really nice to create the space and then see it kind of grow and evolve with a bit more purpose. And so far the feedback has been good. And yeah, we're really happy with how it's going.
Yeah, there's so many different ideas and so many things we can do with it that it's really exciting. Like really, the opportunities are endless with what we can do with it.
It's funny because someone will come in as a new member because they often want to learn something, or, you know, I want to really learn how to, I don't know, do some DIY projects or something. And then they'll come in and they'll kind of get satisfied with that. But then they realize that, oh, what's that over there? Or what's that over there? Oh, you guys are learning about off-grid. Oh, that's interesting. Or, you know, oh, what's this indoor hydroponic garden thing? Never saw that. That looks cool. And it just opens up so many doors, because sometimes you just don't know what you don't know, right? And then
100%.
then it just becomes a bunch of rabbit holes that you could just go down
Absolutely,
and
it
get
does.
lost in terms of seeds and gardening and what kind and how to preserve it. It could be endless. So it's really fun like that. You can get as little or as much as you want
As
almost.
you want. And the beauty of it is it's all going back to basics. It's all going back to personal responsibility, personal self-care. Where do you choose to put your energy? How much energy are you going to put into feeding yourself, to taking care of yourself, to self-care, to making sure you make healthy choices? And like I say, it's things that our ancestors and our grandparents and our great-grandparents, did. That's how they were raised, and we have progressively forgotten that and become more about a disposable society, that if it doesn't come in a packet frozen, you don't know what to do with it. So being able to bring things back to basics, I would love to know how to make sourdough bread,
Oh
so
boy, careful what you wish for, because once you make it, oh boy.
You won't be able to stop eating it.
one of the things that I loved as well on your little buttons that you have on your website is about survival. It's about those survival tips, and how to do that. It's not doomsday prepping, which is completely another animal on its own, but we all need to know those survival things, how to read a compass, how to, navigate certain things. So what do you include in your survival area that you talk about?
Yeah, survival can be many different things for many people. I mean, urban setting compared to a rural setting, maybe it's less survival, it's more everyday. So depends on where you're at and your perspective. It's more about being prepared, I guess. Being prepared, for example, if the power goes out, like people here in Ottawa back in May, we experienced a power outage, and our power was out for about a week, right?
Almost a week.
So no power, no water, which means for me, no coffee in the morning, and that's not pleasant for anyone. So, it's about having enough food stored, canned food, whether you buy canned food or buy frozen, have a freezer, dehydrating, whatever, perhaps having a generator just in case. So there's those kinds of, I guess, preparedness things that, when you think about it, this applies to every single person, wherever you are. These are just basics. And then there's some other things you can do in terms of, if you needed to leave your home for whatever reason, whether it's like here, we've had tornadoes here in Ottawa the past few years that I've never ever experienced in my life. So, just having a like a knapsack or some
Like a bug out kind of bag.
bug out bag, just in case you need to leave quickly. And I got to tell you, I bet you 99.9% of the people don't have that. Having some precious metals around, a part of a power outage means too many businesses rely on
debit
internet and the debit system. And what we realized when we went and drove around when the power was out is a lot of businesses were closed because their Square system wasn't working, and then they didn't accept cash. I mean, well, why wouldn't you accept cash? It's not power related. So it's just a lot of common sense in some cases. And of course, you could take that to an extreme where, in terms of other events where you may have to skip town, which means you're looking at, maybe a month in the wilderness somewhere. Okay, well, what do you need for that in terms of supplies and
shelter and
water and food? So it's it probably appeals to 80% of the folks who probably never even thought of it, and can practically help them to at least be prepared for the worst and hope for the best that it never happens.
Well, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Exactly. It's important to, like, the gives that have cash, and it showed us the how we really can't depend on going all digital. Like, we need to keep cash in the system and cash in circulation, because you know, being all digital would be very scary in times like that, when you have to take off, or when the power outage happens, or even when there's an internet outage, like with Rogers several months
Yeah,
ago, you
that's right.
know, like, you know, being all digital and not having cash is a scary thing.
It
Being
is
all one
scary.
thing is bad, whatever the topic. Being all in on having all your eggs in one basket on anything is rarely a good thing.
I know when you drop it, it's just you've just got scrambled eggs. Yeah, it's definitely it's being able to diversify, if that's the word to use, and be aware of lots of different things that are going to be able to support you. Now, I noticed on your website you have a free download of an ebook. Can you tell me what that's about?
Yeah, so we just put together an ebook and made it available. I think it was last week, and it's called 10 Simple Ways to Become More Independent, Self-Sufficient, and Personally Fulfilled. So it kind of touches on things and activities and reflections that just about anyone can do to be a bit more secure in their daily lives, and talks about how you can have a little garden, whether it's outdoors and or indoors. It can talks a little bit about your attitude as well. And that means, for example, shifting your mindset from less consumer to more producer. It's amazing how much, when you think about your everyday life, how you really aren't producing anything, but boy, you're consuming. Other topics like the importance of having precious metals in your life. What else does it talk about in there? I can't remember. It's 10 pages.
Yeah, it's 10
And it talks about
homeschooling,
the importance of that, and some tips in terms of how to go about that. For example, gardening, you know, where to get some seeds, how to have an indoor hydroponic system that can easily sit on your countertop, and you can grow fresh herbs if you wanted to in the winter as well. So it's kind of it's positioned to be a non-threatening, because sometimes when you say the word self-sufficient, you have visions of Grizzly Adams. You know, that's not what we're talking about. But just some practical ways where you can do a few more things for yourself, and to save some money too.
Mm-hmm.
People think you need to be on a big farm in the middle of the country and
Yeah.
to be able to be self-sufficient, but you really don't. You can start just where you live. You can live in an apartment. There's still a lot of things you could do to become more self-sufficient.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Once you become aware of your carbon footprint, and like you say, whether you're a consumer of or a producer of, it really does start to change your mindset on where you want to place your energy and what you want to create for yourself.
A lot of that too, Karen, is sure, there's the practical things that we all can do, but there's also, you just mentioned it a few times, you know, having the mindset. Mm-hmm. and how you direct your energy. So it's so easy in during any time to whine and complain about what's going on around you. It's been really easy the past few years. There's been a lot to whine and complain about on a hourly basis. And what we've realized, and I think a lot of our members have agreed with, is, and that's probably one of the reasons why they were looking for something more as opposed to social media, is they're kind of done with the whining and complaining.
They want to take action now.
And it's like, okay, yeah, what can I do? What can we do to reduce our anxiety, you know, to regain a bit more control of our lives, regardless of what happens externally? Because you know, fear is often because you don't know or you're not prepared. You know, if you're going into a presentation and you're scared, it's probably because you didn't prepare well enough. And that's not performance anxiety. That's different. Yeah. So the more you're prepared and you feel like you have certain critical bases of your life in order, you know, you can breathe a bit more easier, you can calm down a bit, and you know, you can get a bit more control of yourself, and you feel like you're in a bit more control, and you are absolutely a bit more secure too. Does not mean external events won't happen. It just means that if and should they do to various degrees, maybe they don't bother you as much, because you're like, I don't care. Like, you know, if the banks shut down and I don't have any money in the bank anyway. It's all stashed in the backyard, or it's all in precious metals in the vault somewhere. So it's like, yeah, it's okay. I saw it coming, I'm fine. So
Mm.
just having that mindset of you've leveled up yourself, and you're looking forward and doing things that are meaningful and practical,
Give you peace of mind.
to give you peace of mind. Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, like you say, oh, whining and complaining gives your power away to somebody else. When you do what you're doing and you start to take a mindful approach, you bring your power back to yourself and know that you have control in some areas, particularly in your own life like that. And I know for the last 2.5 years we've been isolated, we've been jostled around, we've been had all the fear and everything else. And at some point you have to come out of the other side of that and decide, like you guys have, you know what, that was then, this is now. But that taught me something. It taught me that on this side, somebody else felt that they had more control. Somebody else, I went grocery shopping. I did all the things that I always did. But now I've changed my mindset. I've become very clear about what I'm in control of, what I'm not in control of, and how I can make that work for me and my family and my community. And that's what it is that you're creating.
That is the vision. And some people are looking for the same thing, and we hope more who are needing it and looking for it decide to join as well.
Absolutely. So should somebody want to join your website, now I know that you have a free, I'm going to get my word, a free
30-day trial.
thank you, a 3 months trial to be able to navigate the website to see if it's a fit for them.
Yeah.
So, and now can they connect with you during that 3 month trial? Is there workshops or different things that you have available that they can interact in to get the full feel of what it is that they may want to sign up?
So during that free month, 30 days.
Yeah, they have access to everything that
They
we
have
have in
access to
there.
Yeah.
Excellent. And what's the membership fee after the 3 month is completed?
It's $12.99 a month, and then it's or $129 for the whole year. So you get 2 months for free if you do the whole year, and that's Canadian.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. And how often do you do your Zoom calls and that kind of thing with the community?
But every 2 weeks we do the meet and greets. Every second Sunday generally.
Yeah, we have our member stories usually about twice a month. We have our Ask the Expert
Once a month.
about once a month. We have bi-weekly community meet and greets. I feel like there's a few other things I'm missing, but there's yeah, everyone has access to everything within their free month, and afterwards people can and people can share. Like, that's the whole point of the community, is to ask your burning questions of, I'm trying to set this darn sewing machine up. I don't know how to do it. And, so you can ask your questions, you can share your experiences, stories, and tips. You can post your articles. We have polls within the community too, to get a feel for what people are looking for. And some of them are practical, some of them are just fun. It's like, hey, it's Friday night on a cold winter's night, what's your favorite thing to do, kind of thing. So it's designed to be engaging and to create community. And it's not the website. The website is kind of an information page. This is built on an entire platform that is designed specifically for community building. So as Jessica mentioned, it's not Facebook, it's not anything kind of mainstream social like that. It's built on a community platform. So it's
got an app as well too, so people can have it on their phones if they want.
Yeah, it has an app, so people can use it and participate and engage in a variety of ways, whichever works best for them.
Yeah, we even created like a section for like healthy, wholesome recipes, so people can share their favorite recipes, or share favorite things. So maybe people are sharing, clothing that even helps protect against EMF protection, which we didn't know about till a member shared that with us. So we have different sections in there too, where people can be really interactive and share things.
I can think of so many people off the top of my head who would benefit from being a member of your group and being able to share and offer expertise. One comes to mind immediately is a friend who has Modern Pioneering, and she is a consultant for Off-Grid Homes. You know, she's
Ah.
got 2 of her Off-Grid homes. So immediately I think of people like that. And another friend that creates Orgonite, which is good for EMF protection, you know, and so I can see the benefits of people joining this community and thriving and growing and all up leveling together. Now,
Yeah.
the way people contact you to be able to become a member is through the website, correct?
They can go to the website to learn more about what our community is about, why we started it, what kind of groups they could expect to see and join. Also, there's they can reach out to us through the website or by email. Our email address is selfsufficientyou@proton.me.
Okay, perfect. Now, is there anything before we close that you would really like to share with anybody listening that might be something that would prompt them to become part of your community?
If you felt this like just tug in your system, just to say, like, you know, I want to do this, I want to become more self-sufficient, you know, you're not alone. And there's a lot of other people who are learning as they go as well. And, you know, just, you know, you don't do it by yourself. Just come on over, check it out, and, you know, you can learn a lot of stuff in there and feel like you're part of something.
I think the one thing that we've realized from our members is that you're never too old. You're never too young. You don't have to be tech savvy. You can be extra tech savvy. You don't have to feel like you know enough about the topics. I have a few of our members in mind, and it's, for us, it's really gratifying. It's one of those unintended consequences that we never really expected. You know, we see some of our members who up until a couple of weeks ago never have been on a Zoom call because they never knew how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so now they've been on their 3rd one, and or never knew about I can't remember what it was, but it was like a few recipes or indoor garden. That's what it was. Didn't know about an indoor garden, saw our indoor garden and inspired them to go out and buy their own. So my point here is it's so gratifying to see so many people inspired to try something new, to be curious about things that maybe they've always wondered about or just never ever knew about at all. And it's like chasing squirrels. It's like, oh, what's that? Oh, that looks good. Oh, that looks fun. I think I'll try that. You know, it's just wonderful to see so many people be inspired to learn and try something new. And just because you try it doesn't mean it's going to be successful, but you're definitely going to learn and, you know, and share how it goes. I totally failed, and other people will be like, yeah, I failed too, but give it a go. And it's nice to be in a safe, supported community to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Well, David and Jessica, I want to thank you very much for joining me and sharing about your community this afternoon. So for everybody out there listening to this video, please share, and share it with people that are like-minded, people that you know perhaps are looking for a community where they can grow, learn, and thrive. Because I know every single one of us, somewhere in our own hearts, are looking for a community where we belong. Somewhere where we can share our knowledge, somewhere we can be the student and the teacher, and somewhere where we can thrive and grow together and cheer each other on. So if this is something that calls to you, I highly recommend getting in touch with David and Jessica at Self-Sufficient You. Their website and their information will be below this video. And again, please share, and I thank you for joining me today. Thank you to both of you for joining me.
Thank you so much, Karen.
Thanks, Karen. Thanks for doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.